Hello and welcome to a friendly chat. Well, you knew it was coming, you did. I did mention it on social media not that long ago as a joke, but let's do it. Let's rip the band-aid off and let's talk about Super Nintendo's The Hunt for Red October video game. Let's do this.
And now the news. Don't touch that dial.
In November of 1984, shortly before Gorbachev came to power, a Typhoon-class Soviet sub surfaced just south of the Grand Banks. It then sank in deep water, apparently suffering a radiation problem. Unconfirmed reports indicate that some of the crew were rescued, but according to statements by both Soviet and American governments, nothing of what you're about to see ever happened. Now I can guarantee that very little of what happens in this video game ever happened in the movie. But regardless of that, I'm not going to dogpile on a game from 1991. Because, like, honestly, I actually had fun playing this. Uh, it could be classed in name only, really, but honestly, it was a fun little game. Like there's some pictures of like graphics and whatnot on the back. It's basically just a side scroller. You're in the Red October. You're side scrolling. You have to avoid other submarines trying to sink you with torpedoes. There's ships on the surface dropping depth charges and putting sea mines in the water. Yeah, that's basically it. You got to avoid crashing into the seabed and rocks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's got a lot of elements to a lot of other video games. So you go, yeah, I got to avoid this, I got to avoid that, I got to get through here. This section of it where you're going through like underwater caves and stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember this in the movie. They went through trenches, sure, but not caves. But so some of it does feel like, did they just copy and paste some of Super Mario Brothers or something when he's going through the sewer system? But as I said, I'm not going to dogpile on the game because I actually had fun playing this. Now, the reason this sort of popped up on my radar again, so I do remember it coming out, but I never bothered with it, and I don't know why, because I was a sucker for sort of film tie-in video games back then. Like, it sort of started with the Super Star Wars trilogy, and I was like, generally, if it was a property I was interested in, and reading the back of the box and looking at the the little images they put on there, I went, that looks good. I'd probably buy it. And these things were not cheap back in the day either. They were about $110 each. So yeah, like recently I've been listening to audiobooks, and I've been listening to some Tom Clancy audiobooks, and audiobooks are something that's really good to, as you're drifting off to sleep, just listening to someone read a book to you. So I was like thinking about the video games of the Tom Clancy universe. And there's a lot of them. There really are, and I've played a heck of a lot of them. Like I was a big fan of Splinter Cell. Loved Rainbow Six back in the day. I had that on the PC. I played Ghost Recon as well, which was quite difficult but very good. There was the Hawks 2 games that they came out on the. I think I had that on the Xbox, maybe. I think it was the 360, which is basically like Top Gun. And End War was another one, which was a really interesting sort of strategy game, which had the gimmick of you talked into your microphone and ordered the troops around to do stuff. So I played a lot of Tom Clancy games, and they're all different style of games. You had your first-person shooters, and you had your third-person shooters. You had strategy games, and you had aerial combat stuff. So yeah, like this sort of just slipped through the cracks, and maybe it was because I thought they're not going to capture the essence of the film in a 16-bit video game, and well, they didn't. But as I said, it's actually a lot of fun. Now, as I said, the point of the game is to not get sunk, and your ship hull has a percentage on it. They've got like a little text section at the bottom of the screen, and it tells you how badly damaged you are. Now, yeah, and you have a limited amount of torpedoes. You also have, I think you have ICBMs as well. Yeah, you can launch. Yeah, you can launch stuff to sink ships as well. Or you can just go to the surface and shoot torpedoes along the surface. Um, it's there is an ability. There is like a little thing you bump into, and it rearms all your torpedoes too, so you don't run out of torpedoes, because that'll happen pretty quick. And yeah, it's just a little bit of fun. It's one of those games that. Yeah, if you got like 20 minutes and you got just want to do something, it's pretty good fun. You just go, oh, I'm just gonna play this for a little bit of time, and then I got to go, mow the lawn or go shopping or something like that. It's not a particularly long game, although I haven't finished it yet, but it is kind of funny. Like I was looking up what the wiki description of it was. And it did let me know that there was a NES version and a Game Boy version. I don't really intend on grabbing those and comparing them, because I don't know if 8-bit would be any more fun, and I can barely see my Game Boy screen now. My eyesight's so bad. But it does. It refers to as deep sea combat, as well as side-scrolling action and cinematic sequences. Deep sea combat made me laugh a little bit. I have a friend who I went to school with who actually was a submarine commander with the Australian Navy, and next time I catch up with him, I don't know when that will be because he lives overseas now, but it's like, I would like to see him through this game and go, how realistic is this deep sea combat? But as I said, I don't really want to dogpile on it. I did have fun playing this game. It's a little bit silly. Now, as I said, the whole point of it is to not get sunk, and once your hull integrity reaches 100% damage, yes, it's game over, and your boat sinks, and it comes up with a really horrifying death scene of the Red October with gashes in the hull, and it's going down, and there's little men trying to swim to the surface or floating dead in the water, and I'm like, well, that's horrifying. Horrifying thought of drowning in the frigid waters of the Atlantic Ocean. No, thank you. Plus the crushing pressure of being that far down. I will, and I'm gonna put a picture of that, because I'm gonna share the horror with you right now. So yes, as I said, horrifying. But regardless of that, yeah, it's a very basic game, but a lot of fun. One of the main flaws with games of this era is the fact that you can't really just level select or save where you're at. I use the Retron 5, which is a multi-cartridge system where I can play Super Nintendo, Nintendo Entertainment System, Genesis, or we call it Mega Drive here in Australia. I think it's also got Game Boy Advance on it too. So and it doesn't matter whether it's NTSC or PAL, you can play any of them. So that's really useful for me. So yeah, once this showed up, and like I bought this on eBay. Obviously, it came in this nice little plastic box. I was a little bit concerned because it's actually in German, but the game is in English, and so is the instruction manual, so that's fine. But yeah, got it home, plugged her in, turned it on. It started up with the text that I read earlier from the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh, this is great. I was hoping for some like MIDI version of Basil's theme music, but it didn't have that. It just went after October. And yeah, it's yeah, as I said, a lot of good fun. I think the Retron 5, I think it can actually save the level, but yeah, I haven't really tried it yet. Apparently, it's also compatible with the Super Scope, which is that bazooka sort of thing that they brought out. Haven't tried it because I don't have one, and I don't believe Super Scopes work with modern flat screen televisions, because no light guns do as well. You need your CRT reflecty surface thing. But apparently there's some first person levels, so I'm guessing it's like maybe you're looking through the periscope and you're like fire, fire, fire. But that's kind of interesting. That's got a little bit more extra gameplay to it. So yeah. But yeah. So Hunt for October was a surprise and a fun surprise. As I said, it's not particularly detailed in what you have to do. It's pretty much just I just got to avoid getting hit. But yeah, it was a little bit of fun. So I reckon if I was playing the soundtrack to the movie while playing the game, it'd probably add a little bit more oomph to it. But yeah, so I don't regret buying it. I'm going to put it that way. I don't regret buying it. I'm probably going to try to finish it just to say yes, I finished this game of however many levels there are. And it just seems to be missions. It's like mission is to go here, mission is to go here, and it's like, well, the mission was to get to the stat.
Damn the man! Save the Empire!